Hello, Senior Hawks. This is a very important time of year. It's course selection time, the time during the school year when we look to next year and set out our plans, whether that's choosing courses for grade 12 or a returning year or telling us about your next big adventure. And as you know, if you'll still be an in-house Hawk next year, the choices you and your classmates make over the next several weeks will determine what NDSS looks like next year for Senior Hawks, so it's really important that we get it right. So let's jump in. Before we dive into a quick review about how to get ready and eventually submit your plans for next year, we want you to put this date in your calendar. Senior course selection and not returning plans are due no later than Friday, March the 4th. This means you've made your decisions and entered them into my blueprint by this date. Please note, all senior students must complete a step in the course selection process, including those moving on to new adventures next year. More on that later. Let's start with a quick review of what's required for high school graduation in Ontario and how to use your personal graduation summary to make sure you're on track. Class of 2022, this is an extra important step for you as you enter into the home stretch towards graduation. Your graduation summary, a sample of which is seen here, is a very important document to understand. This is where we track all of your progress towards graduation each year, so it's important that you look it over carefully anytime you're given a copy to make sure there are no surprises, especially this close to graduation. If you have a look at the top section of the page, you'll see all of the big graduation requirements. And remember, when we talk about graduation in its simplest form, we talk about the three big things: 30 credits, volunteer hours, the literacy requirement. You can see all of these big things are tracked at the top. You should be seeing your numbers creeping up, especially your compulsory credits. Often by grade 12, the only compulsory left to complete is your English. In your grade 12 year, that elective count will grow quickly. White House, your earned column should be almost complete. In fact, you may even see a few METs under the status heading. The rest of your grad summary is devoted to tracking those 30 credits, including the 18 compulsory credits and 12 electives. You might notice the note on the slide that says the 30 credits now also includes 2 mandatory online courses. That requirement does not apply to you. This new requirement only applies to our current grade 9 and 10 students. Have a look at your course summary. The left-hand side is where all compulsory credits are recorded. You should see most of these spaces filled in now. You'll see the course code, the date you earned the credit, the mark you earned, and the credit value. This part of the grad summary gives you a quick snapshot of the required credits you still need to earn for graduation, which makes it super helpful when choosing your courses for next year, particularly in your final year. Grade 11s, when you add up the total number of compulsory credits on the left, the total number of optional credits on the right, plus the credits you have remaining for this year, we hope that the number you get is 22 or higher, meaning that you are 8 credits or fewer away from graduation, and you'll be able to graduate in June next year with a regular timetable. If your number is less than 22, we need to chat about a summer school or dual credit plan in order for June graduation to be a possibility for next year. Staying on top of these requirements is key at this point in your high school career, so be careful to check that your credits are on track. Remember, you basically have 2 periods in your whole high school career where you don't need to earn a credit. Some students take these as spares. However, if you take a class but don't earn a credit, so you're unsuccessful, you've still used up one of these spaces and may need to make up for it somewhere in order to graduate on time. If you're worried, come and see us sooner rather than later so we can see if we can put a plan into place to get you on track. If you are in grade 12, you need to add up all of those same numbers, total compulsory credits, optional credits, plus current courses, and check that you're hitting that magic number 30 by the end of the year if you're planning to graduate this June. If for some reason those numbers don't add up to 30 and you were expecting them to, come and see us ASAP. Grads, you also need to pay attention to that little box at the top that tracks your volunteer hours. Remember, you only need 20 this year, but they need to be handed in. The sooner, the better. The literacy requirement is waived for this year's grads, and we will look after that in People Place closer to June. Once students get to grade 12, and assuming that all required courses in grades 9 through 11 have been successfully completed, there is only one required course for students to take: your final English credit. Your grade 12 English mark is a really important one. It's a required prerequisite for every college or university program you may be applying to next year, and it's also a good benchmark on your transcript that potential employers might be interested in. So getting the course at the most appropriate level and the mark as strong as you can manage is key. If you're headed to university, ENG4U is required. If you're headed to a diploma program at college, ENG4C is the minimum requirement. Feel free to chat with a counselor if you think switching your grade 12 English stream might be appropriate. It's also very important to be sure that all other compulsory credits will be met with your course selections for next year. In particular, make sure your arts credit and all of your group credits are covered. For information about what courses cover each of the group requirements, please refer to the first page of the course list package. That's the grade 10 page. If you took a credit other than French in grade 9, your substitution for the French credit will be done in the fall of next year. We complete these substitutions in October every year for the graduating class, so no need to worry that it hasn't been done yet, but we're glad you're paying attention. Finally, check to see that you're on track for all of your 12 elective or optional credits. Current grade 12s planning to return for a 5th year, this info is for you. You may choose to return for either the full or half of the year. In whichever of these options you choose, you should be registered as a full-time student, especially if you're planning to play sports as a returning grad. This means you would have a minimum of 3 classes in each semester you attend. We have high expectations for returning grads when it comes to both attendance and behavior. You must have a valid reason to return and be serious about your studies. You may retake a credit that you've already earned if space permits, and all current grade 12s requesting the course have been granted a space. If you have any questions about being a returning grad, stop by. We're happy to chat. Just like last year, you have a lot of freedom when you're choosing your courses for next year, as most of your compulsories should be met by now. That being said, those elective choices are more important now than ever before. So some things to keep in mind when you're making your choices. 1. Do you have any missing compulsory credits? Do you need your art credit, one of the groups? 2. At this time, what are your plans for post-secondary, even generally speaking? If they involve college or university, what types of courses are required for the types of programs that are of interest to you? Are you thinking of an apprenticeship? What are the recommendations for your trade? Are you headed straight to the world of work? Do you have a good variety of courses or experiences to build a well-rounded resume? These are big, maybe even scary questions, but they're important ones to ask, Hawks. 3. Are there any expanded opportunities you'd like to explore, like co-op, e-learning, specialist high skills major programming? If you need more information about any of these opportunities, stop by to chat with a counselor. Senior students are welcome to take a spare in grade 12 or in a returning year, as long as you have room for it in your graduation plan. Here are some things to consider when choosing classes based on your anticipated destination after high school. More details about each of these destinations can be found in the handout titled, Where Does Your Path Lead After High School? Or, of course, by chatting with a guidance counselor. But for now, here are the basics. Most college programs are 2 years in length for a diploma or 3 years in length for an advanced diploma. To apply to college, you need your Ontario Secondary School Diploma with a grade 12 college level English or higher, as well as a grade 11 college level math or higher for most programs. Some programs will also have subject-specific prerequisites. For example, if you're interested in anything in the healthcare field, there will be some senior science requirements. It's very important to do some research about prerequisites that might apply to you. The next slide will have some important websites for you to check out. Most colleges also offer 1-year preparatory certificate programs, and lots are also now offering 4-year university-level degrees delivered in a college setting. These 4-year programs have lots of amazing benefits, but do have some very specific university-level requirements. So if you're interested, please start to do some research and come and see us. University study after high school leads to what's called an undergraduate or bachelor's degree, and these usually take 3 or more commonly 4 years to complete. All university programs require grade 12 English at the university level, in addition to at least 5 other grade 12 U or M level classes. Many programs also have specific grade 12 prerequisites. Watch the next slide for a great website to start your research. After completing your undergraduate degree at university, you can apply to continue your studies in a master's program at teachers' college, law school, med school, etc. Apprenticeship. Apprenticeship is a destination experiencing a high level of growth at the moment. It's a formal training agreement between an apprentice and a sponsor or employer. Apprenticeships are paid, hands-on training in a skilled trade across many sectors. They can take anywhere from 2 to 5 years to complete, depending on the sector, and include both on-the-job training as well as college-level study. If this is a destination that interests you, you should plan to chat with a counselor or Mr. Compo to make sure we're getting you the experiences and the courses that will benefit you the most moving forward. Workplace-bound students should look to finish their high school diploma first and foremost. It opens up so many more doors for future employment. A good variety of courses with strong final marks are helpful to build an impressive resume. Consider adding experiences like co-op to start to gain some on-the-job training before you graduate. Quick, take a picture or a screenshot of this slide. You'll thank me later, trust me. Now let's move on to a quick little refresher about entering your plan for next year into my blueprint. It's really important that you access my blueprint through your Limestone Minds Online page. That's the only way that courses get sent to us in PeoplePlace. You probably know how to access this already, but if you need a little reminder, I usually suggest just getting there by Googling Limestone District School Board and using the Minds Online portal located right on their homepage. You'll be asked to enter your login credentials, which is your full Limestone email, and the password you'd use to log into any school device. This will bring you to your landing page, and your My Blueprint widget will be listed across the top along with all of your other apps. When you open My Blueprint, your high school planner should appear. If it doesn't, you can easily get to it by clicking on High School from the menu on the left. Once you've entered all of your classes for next year, plus 2 alternates, you'll be prompted to review your choices. On the review screen, be sure to look for green check marks. These indicate that all of your choices are courses you're able to take. If you see any red X's, be sure to check on the error and fix it if you can. If you have an error regarding an incomplete prerequisite, maybe something that you're recovering but aren't quite done yet, or something you're planning to complete at summer school, please be sure to leave us a comment so that we can approve your courses knowing you have a plan. After careful research and review, sharing your planner and your plans with someone at home, and leaving us any necessary comments, you're ready to submit. Use the big blue button to submit, but only when you're 100% ready. Remember, once you've submitted, changes can't be made without seeing a counselor. And also remember that classes run or don't run based on those choices you make now, so please make them carefully. Once you have successfully submitted your classes, you should see the date and time of your submission near the top of your page, indicating success. You can print off a copy of your choices for your records if you like, but we don't need a hard copy handed in. If you are not returning next year, you have one final course selection job as a Golden Hawk, but it's a very important one. You need to tell us that you're not returning, and you also need to tell us what your plan is. Following graduation in June, Mrs. Bierma needs to demit all non-returning students and submit a report to the Ministry of Education about where our Golden Hawks are going after high school. The information that you provide during course selection helps make this huge summer job a little bit more manageable. Lucky for you, this job is easy peasy. At the top of your planner page, you'll see a link that reads Not Returning Next Year. Just click on that and follow the prompts to tell us your plan. Don't forget to follow the steps to submit the same way you would if you were entering courses. And remember, if your plans change, please keep us posted. Okay, just a final friendly reminder of when we need your plans for next year, and that is no later than Friday, March the 4th. As always, if you have any questions, you know where to find us.